Good afternoon, members. Hopefully everyone can hear me. I welcome you to this meeting, sort of a webinar for practitioners training on online practicing and renewal application. I'm seeing the numbers are increasing steadily. If I can just allow for a little moment, and the numbers increase a little bit, like 1 minute really. Otherwise, I welcome you to the meeting. My name is Robert Dule, and I'm a Quality Assurance Officer at the Institute of Certified Public Accountants. And I'm the one going to chair this session. So if we can just allow like a minute or so, we get on board a couple more members, then we get started. Okay, dear members, good afternoon once again, and welcome to our webinar about the practitioners training on the online practicing and renewal application. I've already introduced myself, but let me introduce myself again. My name is Robert Dule, and I'm a Quality Assurance Officer at the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Uganda. So I welcome you once again. And I'm hoping you're keeping safe, wearing masks and adhering to the SOPs from the Ministry of Health, because we need to keep safe and keep doing our work. We are going to have a short program, so just keep around to take us through how we are going to go about the online registration and renewal of our practicing certificates. And I also urge you to make use of the Q&A. In case you have any questions, you put them under Q&A module, and we shall try and attend to them. Then also, one other thing is that we shouldn't relent as auditors. We need to keep thinking way through to make sure we manage these times of COVID-19. And I'm very strongly convinced that we are going to do our best and keep up the quality of accounting in this country. So as an institute, we are from So we are going to have opening remarks from the CEO. Assurance and regulation. So dear practitioners, let me hope you can hear me. There have been some challenges in connection, but I hope you can now hear me. So after the CEO, the manager quality assurance and regulation will give a brief introduction and will later take us through the online system. Then we shall have a session for Q&A, questions and answers, and then closure. So at this moment, I'd like to invite the CEO, CPA Derek Nkaja, to give his opening remarks. So over to you, Derek. Is Derek on? Is Derek on to give?
Yes, so Derek is a participant, and so just copy this slide.
Was he supposed to?
He didn't. No, he tried.
Robert.
Yes, Derek.
I have had to switch gadgets. So sorry about that, members. I may actually not even show my face. I switched from laptop to a phone because the laptop seems to be stopping along the way. Dear practitioners, dear members, good afternoon. I'm glad that you have joined this session for us to talk through what we believe we should be doing as professional accountants in public practice. I would like to thank you for staying safe and being available for this session. I pray that the Lord continues to keep us as we go along navigating COVID effects. Let's observe SOPs. Let's continue to do what we are told to do. As part of that, we thought, yes, I see someone saying Derek is talking, but he can't be seen. Let me try, okay, to put on the video on the phone, but video on the phone disturbs me. Okay. I thought I'll use the laptop so that I can easily be seen, but it stopped along the way. So I switched to the phone. In relation to SOPs and all the corona pandemic issues, we thought hard on how we can actually carry on our businesses with less interruption. So one of the things that we do every October of the year is to renew practicing licenses and farm licenses. And we normally receive a lot of traffic around this time and a lot of paperwork. But given the SOPs, we realize this will take us a bit longer. So along the way, we developed a tool. So one of the rationale for the tool development was to help us navigate the SOPs. But we also realized that we have been actually labeling you a lot along the way to renew all these things, yet some of them can be done online. Nevertheless, we have to play within the available law. I know some of us are saying the law is unfair. Yes, it could be unfair, but that's the current law for now, and we should try to live within it and try to see how we can navigate. So when you compare the electronic and the manual system, we felt that the manual has been very laborious, and much as it gives a face-to-face interaction, but electronic can save us and be able to serve you much faster, much better. So we are trying to look at efficiencies. How can we leverage, given the time frames in which we are, and we become better at our services. Now, I want you to help us improve the system, and bear with us when it has some glitches at the start. But whenever you get a glitch, please document it, email it to us. The directions will be shared. We have tested it on our side. It has worked fairly okay, but like this morning, I got a comment, someone saying it just pops up, and I didn't understand even what popping was. But we like to have all comments and be sure that we can develop a system that can serve you much better. I want us to remember, and accountants, you have done very well in knowing your law. Please try to remember section 29. And I read section 29 together with section 32. Because sometimes people use first registration to articulate renewal. And sometimes people use renewal to articulate first time application. So right now, what we are trying to do is for all those who are reapplying, we have done an online. For the new ones, we'll take on manual. Because for the new ones, they are fewer. And because they are starting, there is a lot of dialogue, which they go through to appreciate and understand how the registration goes on, which may not be done online. We can do it on phone, we can do it on email, but when it comes to submission, at times they need to see physically why some things are being requested. So I want to remain there because we want to take as little time as possible. I will come back, I'm available when they share the training, when they do the presentation. I want us to be together and we see how we can support each other in developing this tool. I thank you. Robert, back to you. So okay. I had to switch the way my presentation was just to switch to be able to deliver on this IT challenge.
Okay, thank you, Derek. Thank you so much for your brief introduction. And dear members, we apologize for the little glitches in the connection, but I'm certain we are now good to go. So next on our program, we are now going to have a simple introduction on the training, and later we shall go into the online presentation practically to see how the whole thing works out. So at this moment, I would like to invite the Manager Quality Assurance and Regulation, CPS Susan Tega Chamanyo, to take the floor and you make your presentation. Over to you, Susan.
Thank you, Robert. And thank you, Derek. Good afternoon, practitioners. I've already been introduced. I'm going to take us through just a recap of what we require before renewing our certificates and licenses. The following are what we require. You need to have a completed CPD record form, an annual practice return, this is for the firm, a firm letterhead, a proper letterhead, which identifies the practitioners behind the firm. We also need to have a continuity of practice agreement for the sole practitioners. We know the reason for this. Just in case you are incapacitated or, God forbid, dead, someone to be able to continue with the business. Then you need to have professional indemnity insurance. And for the CPD, for this online module, currently we have not yet integrated the CPD record form into the module, but it's being worked on, and with time, it will be uploaded into the system. But currently, we are going to do it manually. You will complete it and just attach it on your online application. But also to remind you, this year we did Cpd Compliance Assessment, and I'm sure all of you received your reports. And we shall continue to follow up to ensure that you are actually compliant. So we shall review this to see that you are compliant. Despite the fact that we are going through the COVID-19 pandemic situation, we have not waived the requirement for CPD, and that's why we've continued providing the online CPDs. So the requirement still is for you to have 40 structured CPD hours. However, you report on your current status because we well know that there is not yet complete. So as you upload your record, just report on your current status, and then you should be able to update that at the end of the year in case you've obtained more CPDs. But this update will be outside the system. Also to emphasize is that since the online platform has been rolled out, we do not expect to receive physical application forms, and neither do we expect you to complete them and upload them. On part of the new applicants for registration as practicing accountants, their module is not yet out. It will be a different module, and so if it is a new applicant for registration as practicing accountant, those ones will continue with the physical copy in the short time until when we roll out their module. So they will follow like we've been doing. They'll complete the form and submit it physically. But as soon as their module is done, we shall be able to integrate it in this system. Regarding the issue of payments, you're encouraged to have funds on your account before you apply. However, you'll be allowed to submit your application even when you don't have all the monies, but note that your license or certificate will not be processed before the payments are cleared. I think that is the summary of the introduction. I would like us to move direct to the online, to the demonstration of how we are going to apply, so that we have enough time to answer to any queries that may come up. For you to go to the online system, you log in into your account. There are, of course, two options. You can either go to member, okay, you follow our www.icpd.co.ug, and then you either go to the member/student login and log in, or you can go directly under the members menu, and then you go to the member login. So I'm going to log in using my number. And then take you through the process. Internet is a little slow, but hope you are following. Hope you can be able to see my screen. So after logging in, on my immediate left, I'll find Practice application, at which I click, and just as the law states, we'll start with the certificate of practice. So I click on the certificate of practice and then click at apply to renew. we have some instructions here to read, and it's expected that this application takes you between 15 to 30 minutes. So you read through the instructions, and then you confirm that you've read and understood the guidelines. Actually, these are guidelines. Before pressing next. So you press next, and on our next page, you can see that there are two options. It's either a partnership or sole practitioner, because that's the nature of our firms. So in case it's a sole practice, you click sole practice and then give us these details. Because for a sole practitioner, you're required to have appointed an alternate for the other continuity of practice arrangements that we talked about. So you provide the name of the firm in which the alternate practices, and then the address of the alternate. In case of partnership, you're going to click on partnership. For a partnership, we don't require that continuity of practice agreement because this is provided for in the deed. So you go to partnership and then you click next. So here you'll find your details because you have logged in through your account. You'll find your details, look through to ensure that they are right. In case there is anything with an error, you can go ahead and change it. I normally see people get issues with the dates. So in case you find that your date of birth is wrong, you can update it. The only item you can't change on this page is the names, because this name comes from the database. But even this option for you to update this is just for you to confirm that the information we have is right. After confirming that this is right, you go next, and we have a page for fit and proper declarations. There is a set of questions. You read and answer appropriately. If there are some answers which require additional information, and once you click search, you get a pop-up window at which you're going to add that additional information. For instance, if I click the first question here, in the last 10 years, have you made any compromise arrangement with creditors or otherwise for you to satisfy the creditors in full? If I say yes, then a pop-up will come up, and of course I have to put more explanation as to why that happened, and then submit. I continue through all the questions, and when I'm done, click next to move on to the next tab. As you can see, we have a menu which helps us know which steps we have so far completed and how far we are going. So if you look up, we have already finished the first 3 steps and we're going to the documents for submission. So here is where they're asking us for a CPD record form. Okay, let me first delete this because I had already uploaded mine. Now you click at browse. To upload it from wherever you have saved it. But notably, everything you upload should be in PDF. So after clicking on it, you upload. Once everything you're supposed to upload is fully uploaded, then you click next. In this case, if it's a sole practice, then you also upload the content of practice agreement. Or in case it's a partnership, then this will be not applicable, and then you move on to the next. Now the next step is for it to enable you to view the information that you've input before submission. You'll note that before every section of this is this icon of edit. So in case you realize that there was an error in the information that you submitted, then you just go to edit and have that changed. You can view what you have attached. For instance, you can view the content of practice agreement to see that you actually attached the correct document, and if it's wrong, then you have to correct it and then move ahead to submit. So for instance, if you realize that the answer you provided for the other pop-up window which came up for the question of in the last 10 years, have you ever made compromise? In my case, I put there loss of key clientele. If I feel that was not the correct answer, I'll click edit and get back to the page and change, put there another information that I think is right instead of this loss of key clientele. Say loss of interest, loss of case, whatever, then you submit and then again move next. Next, back to the review page. Now, after confirming that everything that you've submitted is the correct one, then there is a declaration, renewal application declaration. In case you need to refer, because we refer to, I have read and will comply with the Accountants Act 2013 and all applicable regulations, rules and guidelines. In case you are not sure, then you click the link and it will take you right to the regulations and right to the Accountants Act for you to be able to see that. So it will take you to a page like this where you will go and find the Accountants Act. You will note that before you put in the declaration that I've read and declared, even if you try to submit, you'll not be able to submit. So you have to tick this box if everything is fine before submission of your application. Once it's submitted, you'll get a notification, but the last page will appear like this, that is pending approval. But you also get a notification on your email that you have submitted your certificate of practice renewal application. But still, when you reach here and realize there's something you missed, you can always come to continue or modify. And that will be the end of the certificate of practice renewal until you hear from us. You get the notification and then the administrative procedure start, and you always get notifications. In case everything is fine, you'll be notified. And in case there is something missing, the application will be rejected and we shall return it to you with comments of what you have to work on. So having finished that, you go back to your menu, to your login membership menu, and now move forward to the farm license. On the farm license, I'm going to demonstrate the one for partners. So you will still start by apply to renew, and still we tell you that it will take you between 15 to 30 minutes just for you to approximate the time that you require, and there are guidelines of what you need to have and where we get this from the law. Everything is indicated. Once you've read and understood, then you declare that I've read and understood and move next. Since you have applied in your login, you'll find your farm name already appearing. So you're not going to type your farm name again. So in this case, my farm is STK Co and Partners. And so I click Renew. So you indicate the addresses. After the addresses, you move to the next page. If you have any connected farms, this is the page where you have to give us details of connected farms. You give us the physical address, the nature of connection, the website. If you don't have any connected farms, then this would be not applicable and you'll move on. But as long as you put for us the name of the connected farm, then all fields have to be completed. After that, you move next, and you give us details. You realize that you've been giving us these details before, but now they're in one package. So you give us details of the number of offices you have. For my case, the farm is just in Kampala, and then move next. And then you move on to the details of the practicing accountants. I can first remove this to show you how you'll find a page. You'll find a page in this format. No practitioners have been added to this farm license application because for 2021, none has already applied. So now the person who is applying is going to choose from, we have this second section which have farms practicing accountants. So these are the practicing accountants who practiced in 2020. So if all of them are going to continue, then you're going to add them to the application for 2021. How do you do that? You just check on the box on your right, check on their names, and then you say add. So they move up. So those are the practitioners who are going to appear on your license once it's on the farm license, once it's approved. In case you want to add a new practitioner for 2021, because we might be 3 or 4, assuming I still have my 3 other partners, so we are 4, but we are going to bring in a 5th partner. This is how you'll add them. But note that you will only add that new practitioner after they've gone through the whole process, through Member Services Committee and through Council, and have been approved as practitioners. And that's how you can add them on your license. So let's assume we are going to add a new practitioner this is the section you go to. Because all practitioners are members and they're already in the database. So you will search that name from the database. You will not just type. So I'm going to search for a practitioner to add. You can say I've added Charles. So I click add and he also goes up. But like I said, this means he has already gone through the process, the vetting by Member Services Committee, and has gotten the approval by Council. So after that, I click next. And now this is where I have to upload the required documents. Remember at the start we said you require a firm's letterhead and you require insurance for the firm. So this is the stage where you're going to upload firm's letterhead, you click on it, upload. You can even click to view what you have uploaded to see that you have uploaded the right document. Sorry, the viewing is taking long, I think because of internet, but here it comes. So assuming this is my letterhead, so I can view and see what I have uploaded. The same applies to the insurance. Now the professional indemnity insurance policy will require you to upload only the policy schedule page. We don't require you to upload the whole document, but just get the policy schedule page, and it's that page. I try to put it up. It's just a single page which will give us the name of the insured entity, the amounts, the validity. That's the page that will require you to upload. After you upload, you go next. Now we go back to the fit and proper. The fit and proper questionnaire is part of the regulations, practice regulations for the firm. So if the firm is required, someone may be wondering, why should I do it as an individual and again do it for a firm? Because a firm may not be able to answer these questions as a firm, but if the practitioners behind it have already answered, then we shall require them to put the same information under the application for license of a firm. So we cannot remove it from the firm renewal application because it's within the regulations. So after completing this, still here, there are questions which require you to give additional information. And once you click that, a pop-up will come up and you type there the explanation. Once you're done with that, you go next. And here it will give us the details of the staff, the total number of staff you have, and we have different categories. Excuse me. So you input the numbers, the totals will be auto-populated, but you just indicate the numbers as your staff are. After that, you move next, and we move on to control of professional work. This page, we require you to give us an explanation of how you're going to manage and ensure quality and professional excellence of your firm. So you'll answer these questions, but still some of them require you to give more clarifications. And such a question, a pop-up will come and where you document. For instance, there is, if I say the question is confirm confirm that the accounting firm will ensure that it has appropriate arrangements to deal with the following. So I've chosen, for instance, staff appraisal, and for me I've said no. Then I'll have to give a reason why I'm saying that the firm will not comply with this. Why I'm saying that the firm will not appraisal. So this pop-up will come, and you have to put your response, whatever response I am putting. So you put the response, which we shall go through and analyze and see how to follow up that. So part 2, does the firm have arrangements to ensure that we have several questions? But the best issue is that we want to ensure that there's quality in the firm. So you also answer that section. Then part 3, please provide details of consulting arrangements of the accounting. What arrangements do you have in case of issues that require consultation? What will you do? So you give us, you write what your arrangements are. And then for part 4, you have to provide the name and designation of the firm's money laundering control officer. To give, I already have a name here, but just for illustration, if I just left that space and decided to move ahead, I will not be able to move unless you've given us a name and the designation of the money laundering control officer. We insist on designation because the AMLA requires that the money laundering control officer should be in a senior position. So we need to see that you have the right person. So after that, move next. And now this is the declaration. Still enable you to view whatever information you have submitted. And in case you want to do any change, you will. And now if you look at this page, you're seeing that I registered 5 partners for STK, but it is also showing you the status. Because remember, each partner must have applied the license. So when you look at this page, it's indicating that it's only me, it's only I who have applied, and these others have not yet applied. So you will also see it from here, and then ensure that colleagues also do the needful in time. So cross-check to find that the information provided is correct. If it use the edit option to edit, for instance, if the staff, in case you pass fewer or you missed out one, you go back, correct that, then go back to next. Next. And once everything is fine, you complete this confirmation, you read through and understand, and then you confirm that I've read and understood the statements above and have requirements as stated. Once you off the box, then you are able to submit. After submitting, you receive a notification from us. But like I said before, in case you remember that there's something you did not input properly, you can still modify from this section. Or in case you started the application and stopped somewhere, this is the step you go to and you just continue or modify. But this is only, you can only modify before your application has been approved by us, administrative part. Instead, you get the notification. I think I can pause there for now and listen to, and we get your questions. We have will be answering the different questions. Thank you, Robert. Back to you.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much, Susan, for that elaborate presentation. We are hoping the members have followed pretty well. And now we are going into our question and answer session without wasting much time, such that we allow the practitioners to ask as many questions as they can. So I'd tip to you on using the QA module. And if I look through, there are a couple of questions already. If Susan, you would like to look through as well, but and Mark. But if I can see, there is a question here. Walter asked, how do we download forms for 2021 from the website? And he was talking of CPD forms, renewal of PC, etc. So Susan will be able to answer that. But from the presentation, I think we shall not need forms, but Susan will answer elaborately. Then
Robert,
just
I can take that immediately, because
okay.
We shall not require physical forms for renewals. And CPD record form, there's a link. Once you reach where there's CPD record and you click on that link, you'll be able to get to the CPD record form. Otherwise, if you don't use the link, the record form is uploaded under the practitioner's resources. But you can also get to it through the link. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Susan. And Joseph Kiza is also asking some question here. How many CPD hours is this training fetching? So I'll still leave that to Susan or Mark. Please prepare to answer that. Then Joab is saying the application system seems to be very simple. I agree with you, Joab. However, regarding the fees, our profession, as well as the business, was badly affected by COVID-19, like any other businesses in the world. So we are therefore requesting that we pay half of the fees. The year has been so difficult for us that we could not even afford to meet our daily obligations. So please take this very seriously. This is my take. So that is from Joab. I'm hoping Mark and Susan and Derek are taking note to respond to Joab. Then some anonymous attendee was asking, if an existing practitioner wants to register a new firm, will they be required to use manual or online? I think Susan hinted on that, but she could emphasize. But the hint was, if it is a new firm, new applications, those ones will still be using the manual system. The online application is only for the existing firms that are renewing. Then Joseph Goza Kalinda, I was saying I applied on Thursday last week, but didn't get any notification. That one is going to be answered by Peter. He'll say something. Then Julius Chikundu, thank you, Susan. In case there is one document still missing and you need to meet the deadline, can the system allow you to submit? Susan, please take note of that. Let me read a few more. There are not so many. Then we can be able to respond. Then CPA Hiteshi, how long does it take to receive a message that your application has been approved? It is still to do with notifications that will be answered. Then Stephen Roms, if I have attained 10 hours CPDs and I have other activities that can enable me attain the remaining 30 hours, will my license be approved? So still that one is, it is skewing towards CPD to be answered. Then Stephen Muchuleri is asking, can I use the CPA hours of IIA training for unstructured CPD hours? These questions are related to CPD hours. Then what is the deadline for submission?
Robert, can you first answer that? There are questions Can you first take that?
Okay, let's take some of those, then I'll continue. Over to you, Susan.
Thank you, Robert. I'm going to take on some questions, and there is a particular one that I'm going to leave for Derek to answer, and that one is the one regarding the fees. But let me take the other questions.
Okay.
And there was somebody asking about how many CPD hours. Like I said during a presentation, we still require you to have 40 structured CPD hours. And we have tried to see that we facilitate this to ensure that you obtain the required CPD hours. But also to note, we do not expect that you get all the 40 CPD structured hours from ISCPAU organized events. You could also get it from other entities. Now, together with the question of if I don't have enough CPDs before year end, will my license be renewed? As I was presenting, said, we are not going to stop, we are not going to reject and return your application because you do not have enough CPD hours, because we are cognizant of the fact that the year ends in December. So we are going to accept your application, but we require you to amend your return by submitting a return as at 31st December. Remember, you're applying for licenses for 2021. So the question of whether we are going to process your license before you get enough CPDs should not be arising, because for us, the license you have now in 2020 is still running up to 31st December. So just make sure that if the hours you have as at now are not enough, you submit and go on attaining more hours so that you can make an additional submission as the year ends. There was another question about if you are an existing practitioner and you'd require to register a new firm, would you use the online platform? Not at this point. Like I said, for the new applicants, we are currently using manual. And the reason here is that we shall require some legal documents where we need certified copies of some documents, and we shall require to receive them from you directly. But once this module is up, then there will be a way for you to do that. But in the meantime, you want to register a new firm, you will do it manually. Another practitioner asked that in case one of the documents is pending, like I said earlier, if there is any document pending, or in case you're uploading for us insurance which is already expired, we are going to reject the application and send it back to you, because we don't want the liability to go on our side that we received pending receipt of this. We shall send it back. The only exception we shall have is for the CPD record form, because we are aware that the time is not yet due. Then about notifications, there was a question that how long do the notifications take? I've been interacting with our IT. I think they have realized there was an issue as most people were sending their inquiries on the notifications. But he tells me as we speak, it has been rectified and you receive the notifications instantly. I think that's all from my side. I would request Derek add his voice on the issue of fees that Joab asked. Derek?
Yes, Derek, over to you. Sure. Is Derek on?
Derek is on.
Okay. Over to you, Derek.
The IT challenge that I had.
Okay.
Thank you, Joab. Thank you for your expression of request. that it is halved. That's not the power of the Secretariat. Kindly write and apply to council. We only implement what council has said. But also to consider that those fees actually, for over the years, council has maintained them lower than the cost it takes to maintain servicing practitioners. But apply to council with your suggestion, we'll forward it and we'll get back to you given what council will have agreed.
Okay, thank you, Derek, for responding to that. We can take another 5 questions. And here I'm saying there is a question from somebody asked about how many Cpd hours this will take. Maybe Susan should take note of that. Then there's another question about how Josephine Kavaga, she's asking, how do you assist us remember to attend CPDs by making a formal meeting request booking? Susan, please take note. Then Patrick Musinguzi is asking, thanks for the presentation. If I am unable to continue with the process, can I save my work and continue the next time when it is appropriate? Then maybe lastly here, and we get some responses from Francis. What is the impact on the firm or partnership if one partner did not obtain 40 hours required? So over to you, Susan, if you would like to respond to some of those. Please go on. Susan?
Thank you, Robert. I missed out the very first question, but I'll take Josephine's question was, how do you assist in reminding members about the coming CPDs? Josephine, I don't know the answer you want to get from me. Because what I know, communication is normally sent out to all members. I don't know a suggestion you want to make that, because they say they keep sending reminders. So I think once you get such a message and interested in the seminar, you book it in your diary. It could be online or somewhere else. You know, that's my opinion. I don't know, but unless you have a suggestion, I don't know what else we can do to remind you to meet. And there was a question that, can I continue with the application after some time? Say if you're applying now and then you are faced with another issue, yes, you'll start from where you ended. Your information will be saved in the system and you'll just continue from where you would have ended. Then the last question was about what's the impact on the firm if one of the practitioners has not met CPD requirement. CPD requirement is one of the requirements that each practitioner has to meet. And for a firm to get a license, to be licensed and even published, all partners or all practitioners behind the firm should have met the requirement. So I'm encouraging that as you are in partnership, you should be able to encourage one another to meet the obligation. Otherwise, you'll find that your firm cannot get a license because one person is missing the requirement. That's what I can answer. That. Do you remind me of the first question regarding CPD? I didn't get it properly.
Susan, the question was saying how many hours will this training attract in terms of CPD hours?
It will attract the actual hours we should have made. Think about
this particular one, Susan, this training.
1 hour. Yes, Derek wants to say something.
I don't think this complies. This is really CPD, but this looks to be a meeting. But if people want CPD, we will subject it to the CPD framework. And once education qualifies that, yes, it qualifies for CPD, then the 1 hour Susan has talked about will qualify. Okay. I wanted to answer, there are several questions around when's the deadline? When's the deadline? Yeah. I'm just going to read this verbatim because I thought all accountants had read this section. Section 29 of the Accountants Act reads, Renewal of Certificate of Practice. Paragraph 1. A practicing accountant who wishes to renew his or her certificate of practice shall submit a written application to the registrar at least 2 months before the end of the year in respect of which the certificate is issued. So if the certificate was issued in 2020, 2 months before in this year, 2020, 2 months before 2020 ends, you should indicate that you will practice. That 2 months before will be 31st October 2020. Those will be the 2 months before the year ends. I know I have come across practitioners who say submit a written application means I should get my paper, pen, and handwrite. But we have seen, even in courts, that things of writing have evolved, including usage of computer. So in this era of COVID, writing through your computer, through your portal, I believe that is a written application. And the format, I think, that comes out says to the registrar, something like that. So it's a letter to the registrar, which means you have applied to, the form is in the form of a letter to the registrar. So I think that shouldn't be much of a problem, but we are still subjecting it to further legal interpretation for those who are trying to say written application means handwriting. Then paragraph 2 says, where an application for renewal of a certificate of practice is not made within the prescribed period, the secretary shall inform the council, and the council shall order the removal of the name of that accountant from the register of practicing accountants. Kindly do not force us to start ping-ponging on issues that are very clear, are well written, and are very well understood. Who wishes to practice is a practitioner. It's not the secretariat, it's not council. Who notifies that is going to practice next year? It's the practitioner. So kindly, if you do that part, it helps us to serve you a little bit better. But by law, secretary is mandated to inform council who has applied, who has not applied. And who has not applied, the law says here that the council shall order the removal of the name of the accountant from the register of practicing accountants. So kindly, let's submit within time, and let's try to renew in time.
Okay. Thank you so much, Derek. And I'm convinced we have covered most of the questions. But good thing you have the option of sending us more questions to our emails. There's that email standards@icpau.co.ug. Please send through any other queries. We shall be happy to respond to them. Now we are just about to close the meeting, webinar. And before we close, I'm going to request CPA Mark Romana, the Director of Standards and Regulation, to give some brief comments and maybe a vote of thanks to everyone that has attended. And later we are going to close. But maybe before CPA Mark comes in, there's a simple question here about whether we can be able to provide an invoice on request. I think we can. If you really require an invoice for you to be able to process payment,
Not really, Robert, no.
Yes, Derek.
I don't think a license calls for an invoice. We provide debit notes.
Okay.
We provide you information of what exactly that, but that's not an invoice because we are not charging VAT on license.
Okay. Thanks for the clarification, Derek. So over to you, CPA Mark, to give your few comments and vote of thanks. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Robert. Thank you for guiding us through this session. I want to thank Susan for a very elaborate presentation. I think she's very ably showed us how to navigate through the platform, through the application system. And I think we all appreciate that it's fairly straightforward, it's simple, and it should not take you more than even 10 minutes. If you have all the documents that she has mentioned ready, this should make your lives so much easier. We know you have a lot to deal with in the midst of this pandemic and all the work that you need to get done. We are trying to make your lives all the more simpler. So hopefully this is one headache that you can get off your chest. As our CEO has reminded us, please comply with the timelines. Those timelines are fixed by law. It is not within our power to adjust them. So come midnight of 31st of October, if you have not submitted your application, then the secretary, the registrar, has no choice but to report that fact to the council. So it's very essential that you meet these deadlines. I've already indicated it's very simple. We have emphasized in this session that even if you didn't have the funds available on your account, you should at the very least be able to submit the application. The processing is another matter. Is a second stage. It's a secondary stage. But on your part, make sure that at 1st of October, yourself, the practitioner, and the firm have submitted your renewal applications. Robert has indicated we are available to respond to any questions that you have, and if you have any problems with your application process, drop us an email. We will be able to respond as quickly as possible, so that you have a smooth sail. So again, we thank you very much for attending this this brief meeting, webinar, as Robert has called it. After you have submitted your application, you've completed your renewal process, there is the process of inspection. We have recently got clearance from the Quality Assurance Board in light of the pandemic to do most of the inspections remotely. So you will hear from us over the course of next month as we try and get records from you via email, because it might not be possible for us to visit your offices physically. There'll be a few exceptional cases where we do so, where we are perhaps not satisfied with the information you provided, or where we feel that there's a certain risk attached to your firm. But by and large, we should be able to conduct all of these inspections remotely, so that come 1st January 2021, you have your license and certificate and are ready to get back to business. So on that note, I want to thank you very much for your time. We don't take it for granted. Thank you for sparing your late afternoon to be with us. For any questions regarding licensing, inspection, regulation, anything to do with your practice, we are happy and always available to attend to them. Thank you very much.
Okay, so thank you so much, CPA Mark, for that vote of thanks and a couple of comments. And I'd like to thank all my panelists, Susan, Derek, and Mark, and to you, the participants, dear practitioners. We thank you so much for your time. We can't take it for granted. And we are hoping that this online system is going to simplify our work and to make sure that we continue reasonably performing our duties as always. So I thank you so much. I wish you God's blessings. Keeping safe. And I adjourn the meeting. You're free to leave at leisure. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you all for attending.